training camp last year, sat him for the first game. But Chris, after missing that first game, McMahon came in and scored 3 goals in the first 3 games. So I think it was message sent, message accepted. And here he gets the game's first goal of the year.
1 minute in, the icebreaker from McMahon, Nylander, and Tavares both get assists on the first goal. Craig Berube talked about McMahon, but there's another step there for him.
Well, if I'm looking for Bobby McMahon and say, okay, how are the lines going to shape up? You know all the interesting opportunities with Mitch Marner gone. Okay, we can worry about the Matthews line. That line with Tavares and Nylander, he was able to play at certain times last year and stay there, but then he was up and down. This is the opportunity this season to solidify that spot, and couldn't ask for a better start to do that.
Fourth line's out for both teams. That includes Patrick Laine on the fourth line for the Canadiens. Puck slides down into the Leaf zone. That's icing against Montreal. Keys to a W brought to you by J.P. Weiser's, the perfect Canadian whiskey for game night.
Well, all training camp long, Marty St. Louis has talked about his team needs to be better 5-on-5. Better defensively, better offensively. Not a good start on that front. With all the changes this year and all the talk about Mitch Marner being gone, it's your top guys that you need to lead the way. You look for Austin Matthews to set the tone, and a big opportunity for Anthony Stolarz. He's the guy, no question that he's going to have another career high this year in games played for the Maple Leafs.
Craig Berube goes right back to the Tavares line with a face-off in the Canadian zone. Now an outlet here from Jack-Eye. Line A sends it through center, and Josh Anderson, who always plays well against the Leafs, has the puck in the Toronto zone. Here's Noah Dobson moving in. Put it across, and Slafkovsky picks that up. Sharp angle shot off Stolarz, and Nylander to the line. It'll be kept alive by Matheson. Mike Matheson across, and that slide behind Caulfield. Back to Matheson at the line. Gets it back from Dobson. Mike Matheson sets it on goal, and that's kicked away by Stolarz. Suzuki able to get it back to Dobson as the Canadiens hold the zone. Brandon Carlo took it away from Slafkovsky. McMahon unable to get it out. It's still alive for the Canadiens as Matheson cuts to the inside, sends it across. Here's the shot, and a left pad stop by Stolarz as the Leafs clear.
Well, how do you like that look of that pairing on the back end? You see Matheson with the newcomer Dobson. They just adding that offensive push as well, and they were really aggressive in the offensive zone. Good job moving side to side to create chances.
Chris Tanev took a hit, got it to the line, kept in by Suzuki, and now off Michelli and out. Lane Hudson will send it back in, the Calder Trophy winner who put on a real show here at Scotiabank in the preseason. Pass for Davidov out of his reach, and icing called against Montreal.
Bet365 has a new and exclusive game, Prize Matcher. Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Well, Chris, you start the game on the road for the Canadiens, and you just try to get your legs, get settled in, and absorb a little bit of pressure. You know it's going to come. You give up that early goal, and I think for Marty St. Louis, you've seen a lot of talk on the bench. Just settle down, get back to your game. Don't let this game get away in a hurry. Start getting some offensive zone time and claw your way back into the rhythm of game number 1 here.
Here's Austin Matthews in, fumbles the puck, and Alex Newhook back the other way. Back pressure from Matthews, and Simon Benoit will regroup as both teams make changes. Ekman Larson ahead. Domi looking for it at the Montreal line. It slides the length of the ice, icing Toronto.
For Martin St. Louis, this is his 3rd training camp. He was really positive about the team and the outlook here. He said, we made so many strides last year after a very difficult start, kind of put them behind the 8 ball. His team found a way to dig in, found a way to play those big, tight games. And this year's training camp was very different. A lot more expectation on this team. He's got the foundation laid from the last 2 years, and he's going to be a little bit harder on them this year because he feels that they've got to that level of excellence to try to deserve it.
Nick Robertson with a shot, and that's absorbed by Montembeault. was a slow start for Montreal last year. 8 wins in the first 24 before they got going.
You know, you have, okay, what's this team going to be like? And look at that number on November 30th. Dead last in the National Hockey League in the East. And then they clawed their way. And after the Four Nations, you could see just playing in that top 10, it just sort of changed the mindset. Didn't make all that many huge deals at the deadline. We're able to believe in this group, and on the last day of the NHL schedule made the playoffs, and I think that's really paved the way for the mindset. You know, you watch the rebuild of the Montreal Canadiens. Well, you make that deal for Dobson. That's not really a rebuild. That's a retool. And I think that what's precipitated the success they had last year to make that kind of big move to try to push this year a little further along.
Brendan Gallagher, the elder statesman for Montreal, stepped in and won that draw. Now the Leafs will come back in. Robertson to Riley, and that shot deflects off the stick wide. Bolduc, the former Quebec Rampart, for Gallagher, who sends it down into Toronto territory. Riley ahead, and Nick Robertson, another good preseason. A dominant performance in the final preseason game in Detroit, and another goal. So I think perhaps an unexpected opening night start for Robertson, trying to solidify his place more permanently in the lineup. Off the boards it goes, and Anderson flips that to the line. Line A looking for it there. Of course, he started late last year because of a sprained knee, and he is going to start this game in the penalty box just past 5 minutes.
You know, one thing in the last 2 exhibition games, Patrick Laine drew a lot of praise from Marty St. Louis on the fact that he was moving his legs. He was really engaged. He was jumping in on the forecheck. This is one that'll drive a coach crazy. The offensive zone, no real play, no threat there of Tanev. He's got control. You just cannot get your stick in there, right underneath that bottom hand of Tanev. And when you stop your legs moving and you start reaching, that's the end result. 2 minutes in the penalty box.
Power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel, paper towel, power through tough messes, and so much more. Leafs were tied for 8th on the power play last year, and 4 for 16 against Montreal. Morgan Riley will be the quarterback on the power play with the departure of Mitch Marner. Here comes Anderson shorthanded. Jumping up was Matheson. Anderson with a backhand, and Stolarz with a stop on a Canadian short-handed chance.
Well, and again, I said the importance of face-offs. Having a right-handed shot on your penalty kill like Jake Evans, he dug in there on the face-off, won it from Tavares, then gets it back. Now you've got some speed to the outside. You can see Matthews just buy a little bit of time, and the end result is a backhand shot. You'll take that from Anderson, but that's where Anderson's dangerous. Give him that open ice with a little bit of speed. He can make you pay.
Canadians had 9 shorthanded goals last year. May have a look here. Here's Kapanen in. Scores! Oliver Kapanen's got his first NHL goal. And the game is tied.
Well, an opportunity to kill penalties here. He had a great training camp, a lot of faith from his head coach. This is just some sloppy passing in the neutral zone. A flyby by Matthews there, and Kapanen, I think, surprised Stolarz here. You don't have a read on a young guy. This is just his 19th game in the NHL. Does a great job of getting a little bit of separation by skating hard, and then that quick release, hard to describe, and it's a right-handed shot. Chris, that's the perfect place to put it. Underneath the blocker, over the pad, and he finds a way to get the tying goal, a short-handed goal for the Canadians.
Canadians are excited about Kapanen. Here's Michelli in it with a shot fired into the glove of Montembeault off the stick of Domi.
Yeah, and off the stick of Domi is what Craig Berube will like. You know, the fact that he's thinking shot there, one of the big messages to Domi, an opportunity maybe this year. You know, got the injury to Lawton, so he's back at center. But here on that second power play, he jumps in, wastes no time, and a good early save on the power play for Sam Montembeault.
Minute 17 remaining in the Line A penalty. A face-off won by the Canadians. The puck fired down. So Ekman Larson on this second unit. Michelli, Domi, Robertson, and McMahon, who has scored for the Leafs. In Michelli, fired it across. McMahon again. A chance there, and he fired it wide. Here's Michelli, 4 assists in the preseason. Nearly turned it over. Well, does. And another break. New hook with Kapanen. New hook just missed. Might have grazed Stolarz as it went by the far corner.
Chris, this pairing of Newhook and Kapanen at St. Louis, talked about them. The opportunity there to get more shorthanded time. Well, I think it's been a successful audition here in game number 1. They've created the turnovers twice. Once for a goal, second one a good opportunity again. So a good start for that tandem.
Christian Dvorak, Joel Armia gone. 2 reliable penalty killers a year ago for Montreal. Penalty coming to an end. In the corner, it's played past Matthews. Caden Gooley's got it. Flips it out to center. Line A looking for it. Suzuki's on it. Nick Suzuki and a glove stop by Stolarz. So 1 goal last year in the season opener. What a piece in the opening 7-17.